Hello, all, and welcome back to another episode of Movies and Us, a weekly gathering place filled with conversations about movies, stories, and connection. My name is Jennifer Hahn.
And I'm Sarah Callan.
And today we are here with a very special, celebratory, festive episode. We are here with our birthday episode. Woohoo! And the crowd goes wild.
Yeah, can we insert some sound effects here? I don't know what birthday sound effects exist, but if we could insert some here, that would be great. If not, just use your imagination.
As you and I are here on this recording platform call in silence, but you know what? We're bringing the party. You and I are doing
yes.
it. We're doing the dang
in
thing.
Our hearts, we are excited.
This is one of my favorite types of episodes that we often do. I mean, we love all of our fun reviews and all that kind of stuff, but our top 10 episodes and then our birthday episodes are always some of my favorite because, one, we just get to hang out and chill and chat and reflect and talk about all of the warm fuzzies. But then two, we have a little tradition that we will talk about that y'all might be already familiar with that we do on our birthday episodes. And I'm always so curious and fascinated with what you pick. So I'm always on the edge of my seat. Same thing for our top 10 episodes. I'm like, what are her choices and why? So that will be fun for us to get into. Our little birthday tradition here on Movies and Us.
Yes. But first, a very important part of our tradition is reflection. We must reflect before we have fun. And so that's what we're going to do.
Yes. So just a quick overview of how we're going to spend our time together here celebrating. We're going to start, as Sarah mentioned, with just some thoughts, reflections. It's been another year around the sun for Movies and Us. So we will share a little bit about that. We are 6 years old this year, which is so crazy, so cool. We'll have all of our thoughts and feelings about that. We will have a special surprise announcement that is very exciting that we've been working hard at and Sarah's been doing all of her design magic on. And so we'll get to share a little bit more about that, a little announcement. And then we will end our episode with our little tradition where we share some of our favorites from the past year around the sun. So it's a little overview, a little 3-act structure, shall we, for our episode.
Ooh, wow. Way to go. Very on brand. I like it.
Okay, so we are 6 years old, and I think one of our traditions that's kind of an unofficial tradition is we're always oh my gosh, we're 6 years old now. What can we do? I think we're going to first grade, right?
Yeah, we sure are. Which is wild.
Already learned our alphabets maybe in kindergarten. I don't know.
We totally have. We can read some. Yeah.
We can read, yes.
Yeah,
we are spending the whole day at school.
Yeah.
Instead of going home at lunch or going to school for just a half day. So our attention span has, I suppose, increased. And we're starting to have some fun at recess with our friends. So our little Movies and Us MNU child is really growing up. Really exciting. We have a little background.
Yeah. I'm not sure how long this part of the tradition is going to last because I don't really remember the different stages of grades and where you go from there. Oh, man. So I don't know. We might have to find a different metaphor. But so far, yes, we are officially going into first grade. And that is wild.
Yeah. The two next big ones, I suppose, is the double-digit birthday. When we turned 10, that was a big deal. I remember at the time it was it's double digit now. And then maybe when we can vote, and then maybe when we can drink. So we are ways away from those.
Drive.
Oh, that's right. We can drive. Yeah. I went to boarding school, so this was not as much of a thing. But that is a big milestone.
It is a big milestone. Yeah.
Okay. There we go. And then after that, we don't know what happens. Something else.
Yeah.
I don't know. We will be old and gray by then. So
right? I'm I don't even want to think about that. No. So anyway, Movies and Us is 6 years old today.
It
That's a
is
that's a
indeed.
much more
Well,
manageable number.
you know what was like notable, I think, is like, that we've been doing this for a long time when you and I hopped on for this recording and we're like, wait, how old are we again? That's when there's been many years.
Hmm.
So, like, it is
Yeah.
getting a little hazy. And like when we turned one, we turned two, it was like very clear to us because it was pretty new, pretty fresh. But we've been doing this for now so long that it really we're also losing track a little bit. We have to scroll back through our feed and find out that 6 is the age that we're turning. But I think that was like a kind of notable difference from maybe some of our previous years where there's a lot of clarity on what age we were turning on our birthday. So that's kind of fun to see.
Yeah, we just knew that it was our birthday, but weren't sure
Right.
where we were, what year it was, which, as you get older, that just happens. You don't know how old you are anymore. And it's kind of funny that we have already reached that point in the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. We're just like, an excuse to celebrate, to reflect, to feel all of our warm fuzzies. And ain't gonna say no to that. So I'm curious for you, as you've maybe been thinking about our birthday episode and some of your reflections, what has been a predominant thought that has come for you?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of a mix of gratitude and awe, I think is primarily what I've
Mm.
been like thinking and feeling about this. We were even talking about this the other day, but when we first started the podcast, it was just a fun thing that we wanted to do. And we both love movies and we both love chatting with each other. And so we started a podcast because why not? And it was just a fun thing for us to do. And it didn't need to go beyond that at that time. And it's been so fascinating over the past couple of years, especially after we changed our name and changed, like, did the whole rebrand thing. That was last year, I think. Oh my gosh, it all blurs together. But since we've done that, since we've been like more intentional about marketing and connecting with people and like actually doing the podcast rather than just having conversations just amongst us, it's just been wild to me how like people tune in every week to listen, and people are following us on social media and interacting and contributing to the conversation. And it's been so crazy to me that this thing that just started out as like this little fun thing that we did has actually become something more. And so I'm so grateful for everybody who listens, who follows us on social media,
Mhm.
the people in our lives who also just are listening too, which is just wild to me. So I'm
Mhm.
so grateful to everybody who listens. So thank you so much for um, just being with us and having a part in these conversations, having conversations of your own about movies. And it's just so fun to be on this journey, not just the two of us that are on the mic, but all of us who are part of this community and having these types of conversations and love talking about movies. So I'm grateful for all of this community, and I'm just grateful to be a part of this too.
Yes, plus 1,000 on everything that you said. It's neat to see that, like our community at the beginning of this was like you and I, we were just hitting record and hanging out and talking about something that we loved, and and we were just posting and putting it out there, being like, well, I don't know, like we'll see. And to see this community grow and to see, people on our socials that we've connected with, people that comment, people in our lives, like mention things about like specific parts of our conversation or something that like made them think or something that they really resonated with, has just been kind of wild. Like I think I'm shocked every time when a comment comes through or someone in my life is like, oh, so he's listening to that and that one part when you guys said this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like you listened. It's still surreal to me that there's been more people that have been in this community with us and been a part of this, truly this family with us, and been along for the journey. It's wild. It's still shocking for me every time. And I think that's been really amazing to see. One thing that's also, I think, really exciting every time is just the different personalities we've gotten to have in our little virtual living room here on the pod. Guests have been so cool because we really do share space and this moment and this time and this conversation with them, to really get to know them. And it's been cool to see some of the guests that have come through multiple times, like us learning who they are and learning their personalities, their movie preferences, things that they get like excited by or they find really endearing or that they were shocked by. I feel like we're getting to know these people that are also movie fans and movie lovers and in this space running this path with us. And I think that sense of camaraderie was surprising to me. It's not something that I would have expected or known to imagine when we started this journey. It's just these unexpected new relationships and deepening relationships that we've gotten to form with other movie lovers. I think that's something that's been really special. And especially the like long-term relationships that we've been forming with some of our regular guests that come on for movies that they're excited about. That's been really, really cool. So yeah, I think that sense of community and building connection with all of these unexpected places and channels has been neat, through socials, through people in our lives, through people who comment. It's just been cool to see the connections forming and firing in all directions.
Yeah, and I think also just learning that like podcast friends are real friends, like
Yeah.
film threads fans, like they're real friends, and it's been so fun, like you said, to be able to connect with other people. And you know what, like movie nerds, there's no one like them, and I'm so glad that we get to be part of this and have these types of conversations that we get to have every single week. It's so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been so cool. It's been so cool. Um, I feel like the other thought that I was having and reflecting about this milestone is that this year feels like an inflection point year for us in a lot of ways. Um, the metaphor, that the unofficial tradition that we have around like seeing our our little movies and us child grow up, I think is like quite apt with this alignment at the 6 year mark of like going to school and starting this like journey of learning and going to school being like a shift between like when you're home and you're maybe being babysat or you're in daycare and what to like this new season. I feel that for us, and we've talked about this a ton, but I just think that like something about this past year has felt like an inflection point where we're being ushered into this kind of new way to think about and new way to dream about movies and us and this podcast. Along with that, I think there's there's been really like these cool moments randomly where I've gotten to see you and I work together as a team in these like fascinating new ways. And I feel like we found uh this like rhythm and we found our groove and we've established new systems and cadences and platforms, and just seeing us like operate in our strengths and then leveraging our strengths in the areas that fill the others areas where we can step in and like fill that need has been like really neat to see, in just the way that like you and I partner together. So I think that's been another fascinating like observation that feels just like there's this new like almost like oil on all the parts that I feel like we've established, and I feel like we're running together in this direction, lock and step, and that's been really neat to see. And I feel like that was also part of this like inflection point that's been enabling us to be able to expand our scope of dreams and possibilities with what this podcast can be.
Yeah, and I think that's another part that I'm kind of in awe about, like we we just started this without a plan, and we were just trying to have fun, and now we're to a place where we are able to like set goals, and then we're achieving those goals, and we have a path to some kind of big dreams that we have for this podcast, but they seem doable, which is
Mhm.
kind of
Which is great.
wild and is blowing my mind. So
Mhm.
I'm so excited to see where we're going, and like you said, like it feels like we have momentum, and we're
That's a
gonna
great
be
word.
able to
Mm.
start knocking out some of these things, and bringing some of these dreams to life, and I'm just really excited about that. So there's some real good stuff coming in the next few years for this podcast, and I cannot wait. It's gonna be real good.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, it's been so cool. I think momentum is a perfect word for it. You nailed it. You're the writer, so of course you've got the right choice for that feeling that we have right now. And I think one thing, just like looking back at our journey too, that I want to, take a moment for us to like celebrate for ourselves too, is like that faithfulness in sowing year after year after year, just and because we love it. I think that was so core to our foundations, to our values, to ensuring that we protect that place of joy and whimsy and fun, that it doesn't get sucked into this maybe tendency to be outcome oriented or results oriented, which I know is the can be a tendency in this like hustle and grind culture, and the like stereotype around like millennials just want to like monetize and like make everything into a side hustle. But like we've been so careful, I think, to steward and make sure that we protect the joy, and anything that steals from that, we're like, nope, 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 nope. Even if it's ourselves, like we've been so clear about that foundation and that pillar for us. And I feel like we've maintained that and we've been true to that. And I think that's been really important to the faithfulness and the longevity of tilling and sowing and being faithful to this week after week, year after year, to get to the point where we're beginning to see a lot of these fruits beginning to blossom, and that momentum really beginning to pick up. So just celebrating a moment for like the journey that has led us here, and all of the week in and week out parts of that as well.
That's so good. And that's me. I'm that millennial.
I
So
am too. That's what I'm saying. We have to protect it from ourselves.
we sure have. Honestly, most of the time that's what it is we have to protect each other from ourselves.
Mhm.
But you're right. We have built a strong and sturdy foundation, so that as we are able to build, as we are able to grow, we have that to build upon. And so then we can be more consistent over time, as then we add things and do more, and work towards some of these big dreams, um, because we took the time to lay
Mhm.
that foundation. And we've always said, like, if this stops being fun, we're gonna stop doing it. Like, that's just
Mhm.
kind of how it's been. And I think that that's so important, especially for two very goal oriented people like we are. Making sure that fun is part of the foundation has been vital to this.
Yeah, totally. And it's been the fuel for it too. Like we would not have been able to go this long if we were focused on outcomes and whatnot. We're just having
Mm-hmm.
fun,
Yeah.
hopping on,
Yep.
getting to chat, getting to catch up on our weeks, and then like talk about these really interesting pieces of art and stories. And then, we do our thing to get it out there somehow and maybe market it a little bit. And, here we are now. So it's been fun to see that whole journey too. Just like and like there's been moments where like we don't know, but we'll figure it out. And just like the space for that, I think, has made the fun and the joy been the fuel for us. So I love it. I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so good.
Well, to celebrate and to mark this moment of an inflection point, a momentum moment, we have another thing that we've been working on the past couple of months, really, that we've been thinking about, weeks or months, that has been fun. Speaking of fun, it's been such a joy to work on this. And we have a surprise, exciting announcement. Sarah, what are we getting to birth into the world and finally get to share today?
We have created Movies and Us merch.
Woohoo!
Insert more sound effects here.
I just have to say, we got some of the samples back, and opening that box and seeing like our podcast logo, our Movies and Us podcast logo, some of the designs in real life in my hands, and then getting to like wear them out. I went to a dentist appointment the other day. Thrilling. Always so fun to go to the dentist. Who loves to go to the dentist? But what made it fun is I wore my Movies and Us merch and got to rock it out in the real world. And that was like also a pretty surreal moment. So they look so good, and we're so excited for just getting to put them out there and have people be able to support or get to rock some of their merch out in the real world too. So maybe we can share a little bit more about some of what the designs are, some of the concepts that we have behind them, and kind of the heart and intention we have with these.
Yeah, so we have 5 designs total. One of them is the logo and our tagline, Movie Stories Connection. And then the other 4 are taken from our one-sentence summaries. So we picked, of all of our one-sentence summaries, we picked 4 that we loved and then made them into merch. So you can get t-shirts. Some of them have long sleeve shirts, some have crew necks, hoodies, all of that. And yeah, taken from some of our favorite episodes, some of our favorite one-liners. Yeah, available in the store.
Yes. And it's so funny because our one sentence summaries, speaking of traditions, has always been a tradition, a staple. Like, every episode we've released has had one sentence summaries as the way to kick off and usher us into the conversation. And I don't even remember actually like us making that choice when we started this whole thing. Like, I have no recollection of that. So it's just always been in existence. But it's been really fun to see what random little details, moments, themes somehow like you and I or our guests get fixated on that inspire the one sentence summaries. But then 2, it's just been such a fun way to kick off the episode and see these like random zingers that are really clever or witty or quirky or quippy that we come up with. And I don't know, it's been such a staple of every episode that we've released that we were like, I mean, we have to. This is Movies and Us. This is our tradition, truly, in every episode. So that's one of the reasons that we chose these one sentence summaries. And then also, there's just some really cool designs that we can make from some of these silly, whimsical, crazy ones that we've come up with over the years.
Yeah. So I don't know, should we share about some of the designs or?
Yes. Before we share them, got to give a shout out to you, Sarah. I know you love receiving compliments and it makes you so uncomfy. So here we are going to do it. But Sarah's done an amazing job designing these, going through all of the iterations and different concepts and visions, and her graphical design chops and magic is on full display with these. So shout out to you, Sarah, for bringing these into existence and somehow visualizing these phrases, sentences, and really tying them to the movies that they were born out of. They look so good, and we can't wait to share them on all the socials and whatnot. So unfortunately, we're going to share which ones we've picked, but if you want to see all of the graphic design awesomeness, head to our socials or some of the links that we'll share in the show notes to see the actual designs of them, to get to rock on your t-shirts or your mugs or your sweatshirts and all that goodness. Okay, we can do our reveals.
Okay. Yeah, what do you want to start with? Which one?
This is tricky. Okay, so we have four. I will say we have like a really great spread of them. Let's start out with a movie that we know that like probably a vast majority of people have seen. Should we do our Oppenheimer one? Notable
Yeah.
from the last year, I suppose. Big movie moment for the movie industry and just like pop culture in general, I feel like. So, share Oppenheimer one. Uh, yeah, the one sentence summary that we have put on a piece of merch is physics is hard, feelings are harder. Ain't that the truth? Feelings are really hard.
Hmm. Yeah, relatable.
Yeah, so this is our Oppenheimer one. Let's hit it with the second one. Which one do you want to pick?
Um, yeah, we also have one for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and
Mhm.
it is Not All Superheroes Wear Capes. And in that design, we do incorporate some googly eyes. So make sure
Mhm.
that you head to the links in our bio, in the episode description, to see what that looks like. But googly eyes are involved, fret not.
Oh, we had to. We had to. This design's really fun. And I think what's gonna be really cool is to see like uh wearing these out who gets the references maybe and understands like, oh my gosh, is that it? Is that from this movie? All the movie nerds out there will have this special little connection point. And if not, it works too. Not all superheroes wear capes. And ain't that the truth as well? Okay, I'm going to share one that I particularly love because it's my
Hmm.
dude
Yep.
with his iconic film from the past year. This is the Killers of the Flower Moon one. And the one sentence summary that's included on this piece of merch is in every aspect of filmmaking, Scorsese scores. And there's a swish, a basketball hoop on that one. So that one's really fun. We had to. It was a
Hmm.
Scorsese year, iconic year for him.
It's true. It's true. And then our last one sentence summary is actually from Cocaine Bear, which is a movie. We had such a fun time reviewing it, though. So if you haven't listened to that episode, go listen to it. It's just pure foolishness. But the one sentence summary is only you can prevent cocaine bears. And the image on that is kind of a riff on Smokey the Bear. So yeah, you'll get it when you see it.
Yeah, that one's really fun. That one's really fun. It's kind of got this design's got kind of got this like graphic tee kind of vibe, like big letters, big bold print on it. So it should be really cool with some like pair it with some jeans and some sneaks, and you're good. You're ready. Whole outfit's pulled together. This is fun. Quite the spread. We got all the way from Cocaine Bear to
Yep.
Scorsese to Oppenheimer to Everything All at Once. We've got a good
Yeah.
collection here.
Yeah.
So
We
yeah.
got some best picture nominees in here too, which is great. Some best
Mhm.
picture in here.
Some winners, some snubs. You
Yeah.
know, if the Academy can't give Scorsese an Academy Award, at least I can give him some merch. You know,
Honestly.
some
Yeah.
dedicated Scorsese merch designs
Hmm.
just for my dude. Yeah.
It's we're trying to do what we can do. You know, it's our contribution.
Well, we will include all of the details on where you can check these out. Look at all of the different merch items. There's different types of clothing items, physical. I think there's some totes in there, some mugs, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we'll include all of the details of where you can check it out, and then where you can purchase. All that goodness will be in the show notes. We hope you all love it, have fun with it, and check it out and support. Yeah, exciting stuff. We officially merch. This is one of those
Hmm.
examples of like when we started this whole thing, we're like, oh my gosh, it would be cool eventually when we do some merch, and we don't know what we would do, but that would be kind of cool. And this has been now birthed into the world, which is so neat.
Yeah, yeah, it's very exciting. Uh, and Jen, okay, because it's our birthday,
Mm-hmm.
should we maybe, I don't know, do some maybe offer like free shipping for this weekend?
You know, when it's your birthday, sometimes you bring your cupcakes to your class, you bring people over, bring
Honestly,
people
yeah, yeah,
together,
yeah.
treat them, take them out. Yes, this let's do that. I think that would be awesome. Really fulfilling all of the celebratory vibes, the festive vibes. And y'all are guests for today's little party. And we want to give you a little something to, yeah, take extra couple dollars off. Go get yourself like a warm bevy, a treat. And yeah, hopefully it'll make it more easy and accessible to be able to purchase and support. So yes, we will include all of those details in the show notes as well. Love it, love it. Cool. All right. Well, we have covered our first act. We've covered our second act. We had a whole surprise announcement in our second act. A lot happens. But the plot continues to thicken because we are about to do our birthday episode tradition. So, this is something we've done for the past couple birthdays where we look back on our past year of Movies in Us episodes and we choose two main categories. One is our favorite episode, all up. So, we can interpret that however we would like for why an episode is our favorite. And then we choose our favorite moment. So, this is where we will actually insert some of the audio clips from our favorite moments choices into this episode, so we'll all get to listen to them together, which is always like really fun and really hilarious sometimes. So we will start to share some of our choices for these. So Sarah, I'm intrigued. Let's start with favorite episode. What is your choice for favorite episode? What was your process of like even thinking about this? That's always interesting for me to hear about. It's like, was there a clear winner top of mind, or did you scroll through and really had to choose between some options? Talk me through your thought process there, and then maybe what your choice eventually was.
Yeah, this year was pretty easy. I wanted to go silly, and so with that in mind, there was one clear winner, and that was Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. It is easily one of the most ridiculous episodes that we've ever done. I had a blast. We basically took what is a really good premise for a movie and we just rewrote it. I don't know, probably like we had, I think by the end had like 6 different pitches for this movie and how this could go. It was so much fun. I had a blast. So I want to pick Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
This is such a great choice. We were truly unhinged in this episode. Like we were running around with our heads cut off. It was wild, so much fun. I mean, it's fitting for a movie that's also kind of crazy too. So we had to just match its energy and maybe add some more flavor into there as well. Yeah, this is a really fun one. It's an example of we're having all this great reflection earlier in the episode about really ensuring that we're rooted in our joy and having fun. This is what we mean. This is one of the examples of what we mean. Is this a Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey episode? This is a great choice. It's so silly.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just need some silliness, and Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey definitely delivers that.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Okay, my choice for favorite episode is one that I didn't really expect to choose this actually. I every time I do this, I have to distinguish between like movies that I loved us talking about because we were like pulling out all these different important cool things and what the movie does. And then like just the episode that I liked. And I don't know if I've chosen an episode like this in the past in previous years. Maybe there's one year where I have, but my choice is episode 301, where we reviewed Saltburn. Now,
oh, okay.
this is not a movie that like is gonna live with me and I'll take into the future or whatnot. But I do remember us hopping on to this recording and us both being like, I don't really know exactly how I feel about this, but we've got an hour together, so let's talk through it and sort it out. And it was just cool to see the way that we went from like, wow, that was a lot. I don't know what I just experienced. I think I need to process a lot of this, to having these like moments and sparks of like, oh my gosh, that was really neat that it did this. Wait, there's this connection point to this other thing. Oh wow, there's so that process of discovery and uncovering it together, I thought was just one of the memorable episodes from the past year for me, of us just going from what the actual heck did I just watch to maybe a little bit more understanding and revelation and appreciation for this movie. And that is the whole process of talking about movies and connecting about movies, right? It's just share our thoughts and perspective with each other, and then maybe come out of it with a little bit more insight and a little bit more understanding of each other and the movie itself. So that process of discovery and light bulb moments for us, back to back in our Saltburn conversation, is memorable for me.
Oh, that's a great choice. Yeah, I love it when that happens. When we're like, man, I don't know how I feel about this movie. Let's talk about it, because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's really what we're all about here. And it's the value of talking about movies, and especially a movie like Saltburn. Like, I feel like you can't just watch that and be done with it. You need to talk something like that through. So that is a great choice. That was such a
Yeah,
fun episode.
it was. Okay, our next category that we often will reflect upon is our favorite moment from the past year of podcasting. We release these episodes pretty much once a week. We throw some bonus episodes in there. Sometimes we go a little crazy and we release 2 in a week. So, like, in the course of a year, we're talking for like at least 52 hours, sometimes most often more than that. So, to choose a few minute snippet from a 52-hour set of options is quite something. So, this is always interesting to me to see what you have chosen. So, I'm intrigued to see what your choice is for your favorite moment from the past year of Movies and Us episodes.
Yeah, favorite moment is always so much harder for me than favorite
Mm-hmm.
episode. Because usually, favorite episode, I'm like, yeah, I got it. Easy. Favorite
Yeah.
moment, it's hazy. So I had a few options. I had a few episodes where I was like, okay, I think we talked about this. And then I narrowed it down to 2. And I think, because I
Ooh.
really wasn't sure until like we sat down, but I think the one that I'm going to go with is the favorite. At the end of that episode, we had an opportunity to air some grievances, and that was fun. We, the 2019 Oscars were quite a while ago, and I'm still upset. And it was very cathartic to be able to rant about Green Book for a few minutes with you. And we had a blast. It was so much fun.
This is a great choice. We had so many big feelings, passionate feelings, spicy feelings
Yeah.
that they needed to be let out and shared together. I love this choice. This is so great. We will include a link. Sorry, not a link. We will include a snippet of that moment right here, right now.
I would, just for a hot second, I would like to walk down memory lane with you.
Oh,
Just for a moment.
okay.
So the favorite
Oh,
won some Oscars. You know where
I
I'm going.
do.
I would like
Our
for
most
us
favorite
to
year of the
have an
Oscars, right?
opportunity. Yes, I would like an opportunity for us to just air some grievances, if we would like,
Yeah.
because I feel like there might be some grievances to air for this year of moviedom.
Oh.
So this was nominated for quite a few Oscars, which was great. Good job, the Academy. Olivia Colman won an Oscar, and I think it won 3 total, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
Notably, it did not win Best Picture
Mhm.
this year. I'm Oh my gosh, I pulled up the list. Jen, I got to read this list of nominees because there's some good nominees in here. Okay, so the nominees for Best Picture for this year are Green Book, Black Panther, Black Klansman, great movie, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, also great movie, Roma, great movie, A Star is Born, and Vice.
Mm. Mm.
That's a pretty solid crop of
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
The movie that won over all of these other pretty strong candidates was Green Book. What are we doing? The
I
Academy? What is this?
am still shocked every time. Like my jaw is still on the floor every time.
I'm upset.
Especially because I know we like refer to it as the Green Book year, but then when you really read the list out loud again, it really is shocking all
Yeah.
over again. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like
it
let
is.
us be reminded of what was in the running.
Mhm.
Not even just that Green Book
Yes.
won an Oscar, because that in of itself is like what is happening. But then you read what could have won.
Mhm.
My goodness. My goodness. Didn't this also not win in the screenplay category? I think I did not do my
Hold,
research
please.
well, but I remember vaguely that this like
It did not.
yeah, I know. I know. I
Okay,
yep.
hold please. So, okay,
Nominee.
writing original screenplay. This is the category. The nominees. The Favorite, fantastic. Brilliant writing. First Reformed, great. Brilliant writing. If you haven't seen The Favorite or The First Reformed, go watch it. It's great.
That was on your top 10 list that year too, I remember, right?
Yeah,
you like
I
that movie.
loved that movie. It's wild. It'll mess you up a little bit, but like there's so much to think about with First Reformed. It has some things to say. Roma, fantastic.
Mhm.
Vice, okay, fine. That works. I get it. The winner, Green Book.
Yep. That's the one that also
Excuse?
shocked me. Yep.
No. Inappropriate. Just no. Can we
For
in our
the
time
writing
machine where we're gonna
category.
go see
Like for the writing category specifically, that just feels like an
Right?
even bigger slap in the face to everyone. Like we want to celebrate. This is such a great moment because I think what was fascinating when that was unfolding, I remember recording this because it was pretty recent, is the intensity of our emotion did not wane by the number
Yeah.
of months that have passed since the incident. You know, like we did not chill out. We, if anything, got re-riled up again together, and I think it's really funny to see the way that we just like fueled in this grand echo chamber of feelings and spiciness and being seen and heard and understood deeply. It was glorious. But I was like, oh yeah, we still, this is a sore spot for us, and we gonna make sure everybody knows, everybody's aware. We have some thoughts.
And it was just nice to have somebody to share this with. You know, sometimes you'll have like a spicy movie opinion and you don't know what to do with it. And I'm really happy that we were both able to just get this off of our chests, you know? Like we have big feelings about Green Book. So we were able to voice them. Now we can maybe move on and go about our days without being burdened by frustrations about Green Book winning the Oscar.
Yeah, totally agreed. Well, what's interesting too is when we had that first initial conversation, we were talking a lot about this dichotomy between Green Book and Black Klansman. So then essentially we had like a new pairing, a new two new contenders put into ring, and then be like, why did this one win? You know, like when you compare, especially in the screenwriting category, I think that was like a revelatory for us too, of Green Book versus The Favorite. We should not keep talking about this because we're just getting riled up again, and then
Right?
30 minutes will go by. So I'm gonna cut ourselves off. So funny. So
Okay,
funny. It'll be
Jen.
like 20 years from now. It'll be 20 years from now. We'll be like, oh, let's look back at the Oscars over the years. And we'll like get to this year, and
Yeah.
the intensity of emotion will just, volcano out again because it's been dormant for 20 years. So that would be fun for us. Can't wait. Can't wait to share in that moment with you again.
But in the meantime, Jen, what was your favorite moment of the last year?
My favorite moment was uh, a clear choice for which episode it would come from. And it's Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, episode 293.
Yes.
So
Oh,
Pooh is really the star of this year's birthday reflections. But uh, we had so many moments in that episode that I was like, oh my gosh, which one do I pick now? I also didn't even remember all of our like absolute shenanigans that we collectively played around in. So I actually listened to the entire episode, which was quite the experience. I'm not gonna lie, it was a whole thing. And we start off the episode with this like really earnest attempt to talk about like the screenwriting and the themes, and it quickly descends into absolute chaos, which was hilarious to see. I'm like, we made a valiant effort for about 7 minutes, and then it took a turn. But I think the moment that I loved the most that had me giggling was when we were making our choices for if we had to go up against Pooh or Piglet,
oh, yeah, yeah,
who we would choose and why.
yeah.
So we will include a snippet from that glorious conversation here next. Okay, so I have to ask you, if you could have a choice to face in battle in the 100 Acre Wood, if you'd had to face Piglet or you had to face Pooh, who are you choosing and why as your foe?
Oh, I I would like to face Piglet. Uh
Oh, tell
just
me
because
more.
he is not the main character in the story, his name is not in the title of the movie. And
Mm.
so I think from virtue of that alone, I have a better chance of defeating him because my name is not in the title of the movie, and so it is unlikely that I am going to survive the movie. So if I can at least take out one bad guy, it's going to be Piglet. I'm not going to be taking out Pooh because his name is in the title.
That is so kind of you to ensure that the cinematic universe can continue on forward. Thank you for
Well,
your service.
I know how these things work, and there are certain characters who will have plot armor no matter how good of
Mm,
a fighter you are. And I feel like if your name is
that's
in the
so good.
title, most of the time you're going to be wearing some sort of plot armor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's so good. Especially when you've seen that Pooh Blood and Honey is in pre-production
Hmm.
for a 2024 release.
Yep, we get another one of these.
Great choices. Great choices. Hmm.
Who would you battle?
My choice would have been Pooh
Heck yeah, girl.
because I think that Piglet's approach is a lot more maniacal. If you look at all his kills, let's take all of his kills in as data points here, all three of them. He's got like a slowness to his approach. Like he really wants to instill fear and make you suffer. And I think there's something maniacal about that. Pooh is so kind to do it fast. You know? Like, let me bash your head against this and throw you in the wood chipper. Like it's quick, you know? There's a graciousness to his killing methods. So I would prefer for this to not be a slow burn. Like,
Mm.
take me fast, please, Pooh. He's very kind in his killing approach.
I really am loving how complimentary you are of Pooh and
I'm
how
Team Pooh.
you are 100% Team Pooh, and I did not expect this movie or this review to go that direction. I'm very pleased
Oh
with this.
man.
This is excellent.
This is not a good look for me when I'm I think a couple episodes ago empathizing
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so good. Oh man.
with Oh, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We have a whole bit around. There's just so many that
True.
I've forgotten. Honestly, like we have a whole bit around how Christopher Robin is a villain.
I'm saying.
We have a whole bit around uh why it's the 100 Acre Wood versus Woods, and then
I
the
remember
differences
that.
like in UK versus American English. We
Yeah.
have a whole bit where we're spinning out a whole premise around well, there's uh 100 Acre Wood Con, a Pooh Bear Con, and that's why there's a lot. We are
Mhm.
unhinged. Our
Yeah.
imaginations were running wild, and quality content that we have produced that I clearly near and dear to both of our hearts because it's been our choices for our favorites from the past year. One of my favorite episodes that we've done in our whole library. It's great. Good stuff.
And one of my favorite things about that clip is how complimentary you are of Pooh. And you're like, yeah, he's so kind that he kills people quickly. It's so funny. Oh, it's so good. I love that.
There's at one point I like thank you for your service for ensuring the cinematic universe continues. Like
Yes.
so earnestly. I'm like, thank you, Sarah, for making sure that we get a sequel and the survival of this character is significant that we must protect with our lives.
Man, I'm just not trying to come up against plot armor. That's my whole thing. Like, I'm not going to win this battle against either of you. So, if I can do some damage to somebody, it's going to be Piglet because his name is not in the title. I stand by that. I'm not trying to go after the dude whose name's in the title of the movie.
It's great. It's great. At one point in this episode, too, we're talking about Rabbit's PR team. We're discussing the
Oh,
abandonment issues of all of these all of these
honestly,
animals.
it's
Yeah,
real.
we cover a lot of ground. Yeah, good stuff.
And
There was so much I'd forgotten that
yeah.
re-listening to again, I was like, oh, oh my! I remember it being a great time, but we really had a great time.
And the good news is that a sequel exists. And at
Mm-hmm.
some point in the next couple of months, uh, we're probably going to review it. And it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much looking forward to the sequel. I'm
Yes,
ready.
we are highly anticipating this
Hmm.
piece of content.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Get
Yep.
ready, Jen. Favorite
Mm-hmm.
movie of the next year?
2025. It's 2024 to 2025. Yeah. All right. Well, this is always the best. Just to step back for a hot sec, to look back on the past year of movies. I think that was kind of fun to see as I was, figuring out the choices for these two categories, just to see how many movies we've talked about. Some that I've forgotten, some that I can remember clear as day, some that have like truly changed my perspectives about uh, storytelling and like the society that we live in and on themes and ideas. There's just so much conversation that we've had about all of these fascinating creators and the things that they have created. So uh, it's always good times to be able to look back, reflect, and then we're getting ushered into this new year of life, another year around the sun. And we're excited to see what the next year of Movies and Us will hold for us as we shoot towards turning 7.
Man, that's wild. But
Just really
for
wild.
now, we're just enjoying our birthday and we are celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
So grateful, so excited for what's next.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Happy 6th birthday, Movies and Us. You did it.
Mm-hmm. We did. Yes. And we want to thank all of y'all for just being a part of this journey with us, uh, listening to us, being in conversation with us, sharing your thoughts with us. We've loved seeing y'all comment on the socials or share with us some of the things that stood out to you or parts that you loved or hated and all of your spicy opinions and ideas. That's been really fun for us. So we love connecting with you. Just thank you for supporting, listening, and being along for this journey with us and being part of the Movies and Us family. We appreciate that you're here. All right. Well, we will wrap up here. And as we mentioned in the middle part of our episode, all of our links to merch and where you can check it out and look at all the designs and potentially support and rock some of these pieces out in the real world, we'll include all of those details in the show notes. So make sure to check that out. And we've got a sick little discount for you for being a part of this and our birthday episode celebration. So thank you for listening to today's episode of Movies and Us, and just for being a part of the past year of podcasting and conversations with us. Our name, Movies and Us, sums it up. We're all about movies and the powerful ways we can connect with each other and the world around us. This podcast is about all of us and our shared stories, so everyone is welcome here, and we're so glad you spent time with us today. You can subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you tune into your favorite shows. Connect with us on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. Like we mentioned, we love getting to hear from y'all and to connect and share all of our thoughts and ideas together. So you can check us out, follow us at Movies and Us Pod on all of those platforms, or you can email us at moviesanduspod@gmail.com. We will be back next week, back in the swing of things, with a classic, actually, so that's kind of fitting. We will be discussing the film The Princess Bride. We hope you have an amazing week, and we'll talk again very soon.